Hey everybody, Stranger's103 here today with another viewer replay cast. It is KMS Bogue here with a KGV game for us, or King George V. Just, reading out KGV seems to be a lot faster nowadays anyways. Kicking this game off before we actually get into this, let's have a look at the team list. We are top tier, Ranger Ryuja versus Saipan Independence. They get a Colorado. Double QE in a division could be quite nasty if they're shooting AP at us, because 25mm attack armor means they pretty much lol pen us. So we, no matter how we angle, we're probably going to lose at least 5,000 damage a salvo if they get some decent RNG and hit us. See what else. New York, Kunish. Kunish can be quite difficult to deal with overall, and if you show broadside to that, they can actually deal some pretty good damage to us. We get the Stewards, they get the Myoko. Myoko can easily deal some heavy damage to us. Molotov with IFHE can also deal some good damage. Actually, no. Molotov without IFHE will still tear right through us. Königsberg will also deal heavy damage. So, we pretty much... we have some quite good potential to deal some decent damage here, because a lot of the enemy ships have very weak armor. Colorado QEs, New York's are like 19 or 25mm of armor overall. Although, try not to catch some broadside shooting AG, because then, belts and whatnot will eat your shells, but in that case you can obviously just load AP if they're trying to be smart about it and show you their broadside to reduce incoming AG damage. Although, generally it's ill-advisable, because, in this matchup you see Bai and Fuso, to an extent New York and Careless, if they get a broadside on you, they can easily kill some pretty good DPM overall. Although, of course, if we have something like, say, North Carolina or Iowa, where if we were up-tiered into a tier 9 game, they could be doing a lot more. Having a look at the aircraft carriers, it seems like we have a fighter Ranger and a strike Ryujo, so we're actually... Or not, no. That's actually that is a 1-1-2. That is, in fact, a stock Ryujo on the enemy team, and... That's a fighter Saipan. So it seems like neither team has a tier 7 carrier that is actually going to be very useful overall for the outcome of the battle. This, of course, being a 0.6.11 replay. This is before the aircraft carrier loadout changes, and we see that still, a fighter Ranger 202. I'll just spoil it for you. We're only going to be shooting HE this game because, we've got the British flamethrower. And then we go immediately, 6 shell hits 5 damaging, 10k damage into double fire into immediate damage control party from the enemy QE. So, if that's the target we're going to go for, well, we might as well go ham. Incoming AP shells, these things hit us on the broadside. They can do some decent damage to us, and, well, this time we kind of got lucky. Only 6k damage. It seems like he got some rather iffy dispersion, as we've already put out 15,000 damage, but no fire on the second salvo. Somewhat unfortunate, but hey, you can't really have it all, can you? And in all fairness, you shouldn't, because having 2 good fire chances is just not that good for the game overall. Anyways, the QE seems to be making an outturn now. We're just going to continue spamming HE at that. We're reasonably angled as on towards them, but again, 15-inch guns versus 25mm of armor. They can easily lol pen us if they actually get to hit us. Not like that. So, we do pick up an extra fire, so it's ticking a little bit, but the QE can obviously just press D to start regenerating that. Inbound, I think, HE, but I think it's aimed on the, is it the Congos next to us? Kenish next to us. Or not. Yep, it is in fact aimed on the Kunish next to us, and you can see Kunish armor resists that as we get another fire on the QE. The other one shoots at our Armaha, who actually seems to have gotten away with that quite nicely. Armaha has a really, really weak armor, as the enemy Saipan is, this is one thing we do need to keep, take note of, basically. The enemy Saipan has basically fed our Saipan 9 dive bombers already. That guy is pretty much out of replacements. He can replace 1 full wing, and a couple more, I think it's 3 more, and then that's it. He's out. I think it's 21-29 or something silly on the total Saipan aircraft in a fighter setup. It doesn't have to get that many fighters. But at the end of the day, it's not something you really should care too much about unless you're playing an aircraft carrier and you're dealing with the enemy. Anyways, we're now pretty much just reversing towards the enemy, reverse colonizing, I guess. Old Warspite, stupid thing I did with the old Warspite. But anyways, continuing the HE spam, pick up another hit. Meh. We're up to 40k damage, but in all fairness, this damage isn't really that, much of effective damage. Inbound return HE, does set it on fire. Not a major issue, but with the 44-second fire duration, I would suggest using a not damage control party, but a counter heal at when there's around about 25 seconds left of it. Our heal lasts 28 seconds as we get another fire on the the QE that we're shooting at. And now we're kind of showing a poor angle. This is the guy that's been shooting AP, so if he decides to plug an AP broadside into us, this could be quite a lot of damage. But it doesn't seem like he's that interested in shooting at us, so that's quite nicely, quite useful for us. But I definitely would have considered using a heal by now already, because we could have shaved 20 seconds off the cooldown on the next one, because with the fire ongoing, and you can see that the regeneratable health is now going down, because we've, exceeded the total amount of health regeneratable per heal. The heal of 28 seconds will still be active during the fire duration. So you can basically, if you realize that the fire is going to take more health than you have for the next heal, you might as well trigger immediately, because you can get a basically that time faster, quote unquote, on the next cooldown, and basically get it back earlier, so that if you are going to be in a sustained engagement, you can get yourself some additional, I guess you can say sustain in the area, because you'll be going down to lower HP at a later time. Of course, you'll be still taking the exact same amount of damage, but the earlier you start using your heals in this kind of a situation, the earlier you will be able to get your next one up, and so on and so forth. Of course, the total amount of damage you can tank throughout the entire game is still the same. Anyways, inbound QE broadside AP salvo. This could do some pretty nasty damage if we are unlucky. I would have tried to keep our speed and just try to get ourselves angled in. If there's a second one coming in as well, it seems like he's done about 15k damage with a single AP salvo from his broadside. Pretty good result for him. In my opinion, pretty much the entire enemy team coming up here, we're doing a reasonable job at trying to suppress the enemy team, picking up, that's going to put us about 80k damage, because I think his damage control party does fires. So that's going to put us actually over about 90k damage. Not a bad result, just spamming AG like this, but in the end we haven't actually done too much effective damage, and most of the damage isn't that sticky, so these QEs do manage to get themselves disengaged. They can always regenerate the health and come back into the battle. As for ourselves, we've basically used one heal already, so we're down, with 3 heals left, we'll have around about 48k health, 49k health-ish. And there we go, we use another healing, as you can see in the heal in the bottom left corner. We could have had this healed up about 30 seconds earlier, and it still would have been just fine. And in fact, we're going to continue to take damage here most likely, so, we'll just be continuing to, chunk away. There's no real reason for us to be turning away. We have a Kernish going down the 1-2 line, and personally I will be checking up on the planes. We can see it is in fact the Independence planes that are coming in. Our dual purpose does manage to snipe on. Not really the world's best anti-aircraft on this thing. The other QE shoots us with pretty solid damage with AP up our tail. That's somewhat unfortunate, but the Masters actually eliminate the QE off in the distance. Myoka shooting at us, QE shooting at us. Since we're shooting HE, I would just recommend that we shoot the Queen Elizabeth with the HE shells in the barrel. Unfortunately, we don't actually get to snap the shots off. Press the 2 button and then swap to armor piercing, because as long as we don't shoot that Myoka like this and he's just perfectly fine sitting there, if we now swap the AP and kept pointing at the QE until there's like 5 seconds left of the guns, then turn our turret around, snapshot on the Myoka with AP slightly ahead of it, aim it on his bow, I'd say we have a pretty good chance of just wiping him out immediately. Of course, RNG being RNG can always just get a bunch of deflections. You see QE just hits our tail and still does damage because lol 10. But we can see this guy's just sat here like this. If this was an AP salvo, it's actually can we actually follow the shells? No. But it seems like some of them did actually fall rather low towards the hull, but I think those could have been 1, maybe 2 citadels in there with mostly the remainder of the shells would probably be overpans, but that could actually have wiped out the vast majority of this Myoka. And again, we got our next heal up, we're pretty much pressured to immediately use it. We do still pick up a reasonable 6k HE salve on him, but I mean, with AP on this thing, you never really know what the results are going to be, because, the AP on this thing is rather unreliable. QE thankfully does actually miss us, because again, lull pen like that, he could have done some pretty decent damage, and we're actually not in the world's best position health-wise here. Good choice of targets here just to remove the enemy QE. We're also starting to push up and trying to angle towards the torpedo bombers. We really need this QE eliminated right now, and the straddle So, but it seems that the enemy aircraft carrier, the Independence in this case, is not actually interested in attacking us. So we need to prioritize on angling ourselves in so we don't bleed too much health to this QE. And oh, that was pretty damn nasty. Good shot by the enemy's Queen Elizabeth. Considering the guns are pointed this direction, we might as well, and that is in fact a reversing Saipan as we use our damage control party, feeling reasonably comfortable that we're not going to take too much damage at the moment, and we need whatever health we can have. Another unfortunate straddle on the Saipan. Saipan, another target we could be shooting, well, at least considering to shoot AP at. But now we kind of just need to chill a little bit behind this island. 7,000 health left. The Miyoko can kill us in about 15 seconds worth of shooting because, he only really needs one reload and we're gone. That Saipan's accelerating forward, so I don't think that's going to land anywhere near on target. And I wouldn't be focusing on the Saipan. He's lost the 2 torpedo, dive bomber even. He's lost 2 complete dive bomber waves, so he's basically out of planes. He's pretty much combat ineffective at this point. We should be prioritizing on shooting up this Miyoko because of the fact that we are rather low HP. So get rid of the enemy ships that can actually, engage us, and then push in this direction. It seems as Kurdish and Colorado are actually AFK if these guys have been in the battle. One of them on this side of the map, we probably would have been dead already, so that's a pretty good spot of luck for us. But hey, any good damage result game does require some luck. As we pick up 6 HE shells and a fire, not more. But again, before the aircraft changes, the fire chances are slightly lowered. We are pretty far away from the battle, but we should definitely just consider pushing straight in here, kill this Miyoko, deal with the Leander, and get ourselves some additional damage, and keep pushing in this direction. Rather slowly though, be careful because the enemy team could always turn back at any given point. But if they do, the Northern Fleet will be able to come in rather fast and get some additional damage in here. Miyoko's going to probably hide herself behind this island, so the Leander should be our next target to remove. Just remove the enemy combat ships because the Saipan, with his fighter squadron there on full HP from the Ranger, the Saipan is pretty much out of the game. He's not doing anything. It's time just to turn in because we're getting ourselves really far out of position, really far out of the battle as well. And yes, it does in fact seem like the Kurdish is AFK. If we can pick up this information and get ourselves in this direction faster, we can start farming the Kurdish for damage. Absolutely no point whatsoever to shoot this Saipan, in my opinion. That's just a complete waste of ammunition. And we can see we've been turning our ship the completely incorrect direction to be able to engage that. By this point, we should have been trying to turn our number 3 rear turret to face onto port side so we can advance our ship in this direction. Still broadside, Miyoko and Leander can deal some pretty good damage. We have 1 heal left and 12k current health left. So if these guys do decide to pressure us, we can easily be taken out of the game rather fast, and that'd be kind of unfortunate. Because there's still quite a lot of potential damage, especially with an AFK Kurdish and Colorado over there to try to farm. That's an underlet salvo. We need to be aiming there against full speed Saipan. Something that having truck select the target off, for me at least, I find it easier to be able to, detect movement like this. And but overall, it's just a rather poorly aimed shot. So we waste even more time than we already have, and should be using it to actually. Get ourselves closer into this area over here to be able to deal more damage. Much better aim salvo this time, but again, you can see we're going the ridiculously long way here. Instead of just cutting through here, this and this are AFK, and if they are, we can always go concealed and just, quiet and vanish, because we're not actually going to be in a position where we are going to be too pressured on health. Sure, Miyoko there, but he's probably just considering GTFOing and maybe even running this direction because our Northern Fleet seems to be rather weak. And, well, not really achieving much. No, it seems that the Miyoko is still sticking around. No funnel smoke, so, now the target is starting to accelerate out of the way. But we can see that we are so far away, and we are out of the battle for now, that, well, if we just sail through here, this would be in range, this would be in range. We can set the fires on them, let them burn, blow up the Königsberg, and continue going on. And I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Your aim was absolutely horrible, mate, which is why you missed the Saipan. If you had been cutting through here, you'd be closer to the target. Again, if you cut, cutting closer, you would be able to shoot this Miyoko with, just much better. And of course, if you're cutting in there, and you could have even gotten some more damage off this Kurdish. You can see our turret management now being still really, really horrible. We're getting ourselves even further out of the game, so this buy-in's going to be getting closer and probably picking up additional damage. And at the end of the day, this is, well, let's just speed this up because we're just spending ammo shooting at AFK targets here. There we go, we do actually manage to nick the Könish, but in the end of the game, we really haven't done anything at this point, not to take away from what's probably going to turn out to be around about 200k damage farm if we get lucky, but this farm could have been probably upwards of 250,000 if we've gotten lucky, because you can see that the Independence is out of range. That independence would have been in range if we'd been advancing down this area with our turrets and then up like this, with the turrets pointing towards the western side of the map. Well, to the port side of the ship even. I can't into naval terminology, but hey, we're just farming this Colorado. 25s by now, more damage incoming. And again, you can see we're just sufficiently far out of the battle that, you know, we're not achieving anything. No point in keep letting that fire burn, because, well, it's an independence, side point is dead and deplaned, and this guy's, you know, going to be deplaned with friendly fighters in the area. We launch our plane, they're still out of range, that's never going to hit anything. In fact, if you actually unlocked it, you could have maybe get a hit, but I think we fired that salvo lock. That's under lead, so it's not going to achieve anything. That's under lead, that's not going to achieve anything. Slightly better, still not going to achieve much. We got 2 hits. And 1,000 points, we cap this out, leaving us at 201,000 damage, 94 shell hits, 3 planes, 20 fires. Most of this damage was rather pointless. I mean, farming the AFK is sure, so realistically speaking, if you had tried to min-max your farming and push down, kill the Miyoko, kill the Leander, and swap the AP on the Miyoko, you could potentially have had a 250,000 damage game in the KGV, a pretty good result. I mean, 200,000 damage in a tier 7 game like this is definitely nothing in terms of pure numbers to scoff at, but let's face it, if the enemy team wasn't AFK, we should have lost this game with the way we played and the semi-bad angling, plus a little bit of bad RNG from the enemy QEs, who do pick up quite some good damage against us. I think they totaled around 40k plus AP damage combined, with just their division applying quite some decent pressure onto us throughout this game. If we'd been less broadside or more bow on and a little bit more aggressive versus them, they would have been less effective throughout the entire battle, and we could have probably picked up a good chunk more damage. So in the end, I think the takeaway from this replay cast is to manage your turrets and manage your map. Sure, if you look at it, you know, you keep that extra rear turret, which in the KGV's case is 4 extra barrels of 14-inch shells, I think, on the KGV. Which is, well, I mean, it is 4 out of your 10 total guns. You know, it is a good portion of your firepower, you know, 40% of it. But the turret traverse isn't that slow, so if you take a little bit of the downtime you would have needed to just keep only your front 6 gun turret, gun mounts, your gun barrels even, pointed towards the enemy, you can just lose 1 or maybe 1.5 salvos worth of reload on them to get yourself swung around and pick up even more damage into the later stages of the game, simply because you're in a much superior position to engage the targets at a closer range, especially the AFKs where you can just, you know, get the fires on one, get the fires on the next one, let the fires burn, blow up the, Königsberg. The Miyoko should have been dead at that point if it swapped to armor piercing at some point in the game and not just only spamming high explosives, which, again, ammunition management is also one thing to keep in mind. Although, for the most part, shooting HE in this thing isn't too bad. It is definitely the one-click wonder kind of thing. Shoot HE, it'll be useful overall, but you could have just... To min-max this, you could have had so much better damage. In fact, I believe you could have reached 250,000 in a tier 7 ship nonetheless. 250,000 damage, although it's just burn damage, but still would have been a much more impressive result. Nonetheless, still not too bad. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this replay cast, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and my twitch.tv/strangers123. Submit your replays to replays.strangers123@gmail.com if you want me to have a look at your games and see where you can improve or what you could have done better. And have a nice day, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Take care.